WWE SmackDown review, WrestleMania 37 preview, and predictions for April 10th and April 11th, 2021. A different edition of the WWE Raw review, a WWE SmackDown preview, a WWE Royal Rumble review, surprise entrance I would like to see in the Royal Rumble match. This is part 7 of Should Bill Goldberg Return to Wrestling? This is all about wrestling with the AEW Dynamite review. This is all about pro wrestling with the AEW Revolution preview and predictions. This is all about pro wrestling with the Impact Wrestling results video, AEW Dark results. This is all about wrestling with a WWE preview for WWE Fastlane. This is all about pro wrestling with a WWE Money in the Bank preview and prediction. This is all about pro wrestling with a WWE Backlash preview and prediction. This is all about pro wrestling with the WWE NXT preview, WWE Elimination Chamber preview. This is all about wrestling with a AEW Dark preview. This is all about pro wrestling with the Impact Wrestling preview. This is wrestling with a WWE Royal Rumble prediction and preview. This is all about pro wrestling with a WWE Monday Night Raw review. This Raw for this past Monday night was a good Raw to watch, and some time now. Was a really good show. They did great things with Bobby Lashley and The Miz. I like how the show started with The Miz and Bobby Lashley. Really good booking. Now, the show does start off with Drew McIntyre. It's a segment. He has some words. Then The Miz comes out. After that, MVP comes out. After that, Sheamus comes out. Was a pretty good segment. I'll give it 3 stars. I thought it could have been a little bit better. Then it goes into a good match with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre does win the match. I'll give the match 4 stars. I'll give the match 4 stars. Then it goes into a quick match with Nia Jax and Naomi. Nia Jax does win the match. I'm not going to rate that match. No rating. Then it goes into the match. Bobby Lashley told The Miz he has 1 hour. The Miz is in the back. John Morrison is telling Adam Pearce he is sick. The Miz is holding his stomach. He is cramping up. Bobby is watching in the ring. He headed to the ring first. He is watching on the Titantron. And Bobby Lashley runs out the ring, up the ramp, towards the backstage area. And Bobby Lashley grabs The Miz and he has some words for The Miz. Really good segment. I'll give that 4 stars. This is the end of part 1. Next is part 2. With part 2 of the WWE Raw review. Then it goes into a segment with Braun Strowman. Then Shane McMahon comes out, Adam Pearce. Thought the segment was okay. I thought it could have been a little bit better. Then it goes into a match with Braun Strowman, Adam Pearce versus the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business does win the tag team match. It was a short match. At the end of the match, Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon have an exchange of words. Braun Strowman leaves, heads up the ramp, and goes backstage. Not going to rate that match. Thought it was an okay match. Then it goes into a segment with Bad Bunny, Damien Priest, and Elias. Then it goes into a segment with Bad Bunny, Damien Priest, and Elias. Was a okay segment. I thought it could have been a little bit better. Not going to rate that segment. No rating. Then it goes into a match with Elias versus Damian Priest. Was a pretty good match. I give the match 3 stars. Damian Priest does win. I thought the match could have been a little bit better. Then it goes into a segment with Randy Orton. And they show a clip from last week when the black came out of his mouth. and they show a clip from Alexa Bliss from a previous Raw. And at the end of the segment with Randy Orton, they show Randy Orton on a monitor and his voice is different. I thought the segment was okay. I thought it could have been a little bit better. I'll give the segment 3 stars. This is the end of part 2. Next is part 3. This is all about pro wrestling with part 3 of the WWE Monday Night Raw review. Then it goes into the match with The Miz versus Bobby Lashley. This is The Miz's first title defense since he won and cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. The Miz comes out first with John Morrison. The Miz raises the title. This is his first title defense. John Morrison is by ringside. The Miz stands on the rope with the WWE title. He stares at the sign. Bobby Lashley comes out next with the MVP. Bobby Lashley is on the top turnbuckle. He points to the virtual fans. The Miz says, "You're a professional." He's talking to Bobby Lashley, an MVP. "I'm a professional," the Miz says. "Let's talk business." The Miz says, "Bobby has waited to be WWE champion." That's what the Miz says. "This isn't the stage," the Miz says, "at WrestleMania in the main event of WrestleMania 37. Yearning, fiending for this match. What do you say?" MVP says, "Start the match." Bobby Lashley raises his arm. The Miz says, "I'm the champion." The Miz runs out the ring, heads up the ramp towards backstage. Bobby Lashley wins by countout. I thought that was a really good segment slash match. I'll give that segment slash match 4.5 stars. I thought it could have been a little bit better. Was a really good segment slash match. Then they show the replay of what happened with The Miz and Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley and Shane McMahon talk backstage. Shane says The Miz pulled a fast one. This is the end of part 3. Next is part 4. This has been a good show that I have seen in quite some time. Continuing with Shane McMahon and Bobby Lashley, the segment. Shane McMahon says The Miz pulled a fast one. We will have a match tonight. That's what Shane McMahon says. MVP says, "Is this how you run your business?" Bobby Lashley says, "Find him so I can beat him." There was a little bit more words with that segment with MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shane McMahon. It was a pretty good segment. I thought it could have been a little bit better. I'll give it 3.5 stars. Then it goes into a match with Charlotte Flair versus Shayna Baszler. Charlotte Flair wins. I'm not going to rate that match. No rating. Another segment with Shane McMahon. And Shane McMahon says, "If The Miz doesn't show up, we will strip him and award it to Bobby Lashley." Shane McMahon will award the WWE Championship to Bobby Lashley. Thought that was an okay segment. Pretty good segment. I thought it could have been a little bit better. I'm not going to rate that segment. No rating. Then it goes into a 6-man tag team match. Matt Riddle and the Lucha House Party versus Retribution. Matt Riddle and the Lucha House Party win. I'm not going to rate that match. No rating. Then it goes into a match with Mustafa Ali and Matt Riddle. Thought it was an okay match. Mustafa Ali does win. Not going to rate that match. No rating. This is the end of part 4. Next is part 5. Then it goes into a segment with The Miz and Shane McMahon. The Miz says he defended his championship. It was a legitimate championship match. Stomach ache and all tonight. The Miz can lose his championship. The Miz says you need me as champion. 6 a.m. media calls. He deserves to go to WrestleMania 37. He is a main event caliber champion. It's all up to you, champ. At the end, that's what Shane McMahon says to Miz. It's all up to you, champ. Thought that segment was pretty good. I'll give it about 3.5 stars. I thought it could have been a little bit better. I'll give the match 3.5 stars. I thought it could have been a little bit better. Then it goes into the match with Bobby Lashley versus The Miz. And Bobby Lashley comes out first with MVP. Then The Miz with John Morrison. The Miz stands on the rope with the belt. The referee lifts the belt high. Shane McMahon comes out. He says it's a lumberjack match. Superstars line up by the ringside. The Miz tries to hit Bobby Lashley with the belt. The Miz is on the outside by the turnbuckle. He hits Bobby Lashley and runs out the ring. Miz is thrown into the turnbuckle, kicks from Bobby Lashley. Throw from Bobby Lashley. The Miz is grabbing Mustafa Ali outside. Flatline from Bobby Lashley. Right hands from Bobby Lashley. Lefts from The Miz. Military press from Bobby Lashley. This is the end of part 5. Next is part 6. This is part 6 of the WWE Raw review. Continuing the Bobby Lashley versus The Miz WWE Championship match with the Lumberjacks by ringside. There is a Irish whip and a spine buster from Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley puts The Miz in a hurt lock. The Miz submits. He points at the sign. Bobby Lashley points at the sign. He puts him back in the hurt lock after he wins the match. He kisses the belt. And that's the end of the show. Really good ending for the show. Bobby Lashley is the new WWE champion. If you watch my previous videos, they do have rumors of some superstars, WWE superstars that Bobby Lashley will wrestle. I am hoping it is one wrestler, and that'll be a good match to watch. So we're going to see what's going to happen with Bobby Lashley. We still do have one more pay-per-view before WrestleMania. We will see who will be Bobby Lashley's opponent at Fastlane, or if he still has the title by Fastlane. I would like to see Bobby Lashley have a long WWE title run. We're going to see what's going to happen, and I would like to see him defend the title at WrestleMania 37. Really good show. Next is Raw Talk. Just going to talk a little bit about Raw Talk. R-Truth has some words. He says he doesn't know if The Miz had gas. We all have stomach problems. They talk about Alexa Bliss. Then Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler join. Nia Jax says, don't make fun of my partner. Dude, Nia Jax says. The next guest is Elias and Jackson Riker. They ask R-Truth, did he buy the album? Then the next guest is Drew McIntyre. This is the end of part 6. Next is part 7. This is all about pro wrestling with part 7 of the WWE Monday Night Review. Then the next guest is Drew McIntyre. Then it goes into Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre is next. And R-Truth tells Drew McIntyre, get your baby back. Drew McIntyre says he is homesick and misses Scotland. The best man is standing. Drew McIntyre, he's talking about the match with him and Sheamus. At the end of Raw Talk, he says things just got interesting. There is a little bit more to that exchange of words with R-Truth and Drew McIntyre. Thought it was a good show. I would check Raw Talk on WWE Network. They show a clip on the WWE YouTube channel. I would check the entire video on the WWE Network. As I said in previous videos, they should have a crowd for WWE Raw and WWE SmackDown. They do have a crowd for WWE NXT. I think that'll be good for WWE to do. I will be doing a WWE SmackDown review. Look out for that. I will be doing a WWE Monday Night Raw review. And I will be doing a WWE SmackDown review. Was a really good Monday Night Raw, and what they did with The Miz and Bobby Lashley was one of a good Raw that I have seen in quite some time now. Bobby Lashley, your new WWE champion. Bobby Lashley, your new WWE champion. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you like the video, hit the notification bell. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for my subscribers. Thank you for those who are new coming in to listen. If you have any ideas, any comments, any questions, leave it in the comment section. Send an email. Thank you again. See you next time.